Hello everyone, I'm Amelia, I'm a senior community manager, and welcome to another episode of the REDStreams about Phantom Liberty and Update 2.0. Today with me I have some special guests, and of course my co-host Alicja Kozera. Hey guys! We have Kacper Niepokulczycki, lead environment artist.
Thank you.
And Gabe Amatangelo, game director.
Hey everyone.
Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Give us the cues. What do we need to say?
Yeah, 1 second.
What's next?
So a few days ago, we showed you guys a new ways to play trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. And today in the stream, we're gonna take a deep dive in some of the features that have been showcased in the trailer. So we're gonna go through the reworked perks and the new Relic tree from Phantom Liberty. We'll also show you a little bit of Dogtown and some characters that you're gonna meet in Phantom Liberty. We will show you the revamped police system in action, and also some of our brand new vehicle combat and car chases, together with new missions that are vehicle geeks. So as you can see, we have a lot to go through today. That means that we're gonna be jumping from one part of the game to another, and the gameplay that you're gonna see is pre-recorded. But we are here live with you, so if you have any questions for us, feel free to drop them in the chat. And we'll try to answer some of them. We'll also have some questions that we already gathered from our official forums and Discord. So we will finish the stream with short Q&A. So let's jump in.
Yeah,
So,
we ready?
let's do it,
Okay.
yes.
So I think we will start with the Phantom Liberty beginning, if we can. So yeah, one of the questions that we often see on our socials is when we start the Phantom Liberty, you know, the level, the story was, you know, in the base game. So
Yeah. Okay. So you can basically it's after the Brigitte. Or first off, no spoilers on Phantom Liberty, but it's very difficult to answer that question without spoiling a little bit of the base game. But the Voodoo Boys Brigitte portion of the storyline, after you finish that, is when this quest essentially unlocks. Now, as a player coming to the game for the first time, or even when you're coming back, if you want to skip ahead in character creation, there's a way to skip ahead to that moment and immediately jump into the Phantom Liberty action. And of course, if you have characters that are already, or saves that are already past that, immediately Songbird's going to reach out to you when you get into the game. And then if you happen to have saves that are before finishing that portion of it, then there will be in your journal telling you what you need to do to get to that point. But we have it integrated into the game such that you can be doing the Dogtown experience, that storyline, and the base game storyline and back and forth because it's all somewhat related.
okay, and what if someone already finished the game?
So if you finish the game, obviously your save will be before that point of no return point, and then yes, Songbird will hit you up and say,
Right.
I got something for you, and then you can go from there.
Right, we already received a call from Somi. She told us to go to the Dogtown gates. Can we actually maybe tell a bit more about Songbird herself? Who is she? What she's doing there?
Sure. So she's on a plane right now with President Rosalind Myers. Dogtown is a district that there was the war there. That there was the front, and after the war, one of the colonels took control of it and had a falling out with the new United States, Kurt. And Kurt has hijacked basically control of the plane. This is what Songbird's telling you, and needs your help. There's no way that they can communicate with anyone except to you through the Relic. So you are the sort of lifeline, their last resort to try to help intercept what's going to go on there. And you decide whether or not you want to answer the call. And of course, she says, like, listen, I'm connecting to you through the Relic. I know about the bomb ticking your head, and I'm a badass netrunner. I can solve this for you as long as you can solve this for me. And that is the deal. And you got to decide whether or not you want to jump in.
So this is V's motivation, right?
This is V's motivation at the beginning, yes.
And we trust her.
Fucking hope so.
That's for players to find out.
All right. Do you trust her?
You can't ask me such things.
Kacper, do you trust her?
I think I'm on game this week. You guys have to play it and figure it out for yourself, but it's a very intriguing story.
All right, I know she's also giving us the new Relic tree. Can we maybe talk about the new Relic?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but right here, this is quite a scene. She's showing you how badass she is.
Fuck off.
Let's wait a beat, because I'm not sure. Has this been revealed yet? This hasn't
No,
been seen
this is
yet,
the
right? This is the first time it's being seen.
Yeah, like if it's about me, I wouldn't trust her.
So she's suppressing, because having both her and Johnny on the relic at the same time is causing an issue with like seizures with you there. And so she's like, listen, I'm going to suppress him for now, but it's for everyone's safety. He's still there, as I think you can see in some of the dialogue there. What was your question? I'm sorry, I went on that tangent because I wanted to highlight
like
that.
we can, we can still talk about that.
She's the real deal.
Well, she's a netrunner for the president, right? So she needs to be a badass,
top
right?
Top netrunner for the new United States. Yep.
But yeah, coming back to the relic, right? We got a relic from her. Maybe we want actually that players to get to that point watching this gameplay.
Yeah, they're going to see that here in a moment. So basically, in addition to communicating through the relic and being able to suppress Johnny there, she is able to basically utilize, enhance it, and says, listen, I'm going to unlock some potential of this relic in your head, and this is going to unlock the skill tree, which I guess they're going to see in a moment there. Mm-hmm. And is this when I talk about what the skill tree does? Or?
In a moment.
Okay,
let's
sorry.
watch it.
Likely enough to minimize losses, save some folks. That's where you
I guess Johnny is not happy to be suppressed by Songbird like that.
I mean, I wouldn't.
You'll find out how Johnny feels a little bit later in the story.
Dogtown, not so sure. You'll need to get her out of the plane before anyone else does.
Nothing's for free, Songbird. We should talk biz.
Just got a taste of my abilities, I believe. There's more. I can cure you. Once and for all.
Can't know how much I'd really love to believe you, but...
I know, V. You've hit a dead end. Nowhere to turn. Been there. Believe me. Consider this, an advance. Your relic's crowded with clusters of corrupted data. I'm done with that. Make it
Yeah. Now we can jump to the relic. So yeah, we got the new relic tree. How does it work?
So the relic tree essentially enhances various different cyberware. That's kind of the theme of it. And the way that you're able to, she helps you unlock some of it, the skill tree opens up, but the way you're able to unlock more potential of it, basically get the points that you can spend for more stuff, is by finding Militech data terminals throughout Dogtown. Because again, Dogtown is the former combat zone where the battle between Arasaka and Militech in the United States. So there's some leftover data terminals there that help you unlock more and more of this. And the theme, there's a bunch of different type of abilities to unlock for different cyberware. I'm sorry, keep going? Okay. One, for example, is basically being able to not only enhance your own cyberware, but find vulnerabilities in other people's cyberware. So as your enemies are out there, if you get headshots, if you get precise headshots, you get damage bonuses, whatnot. We've unlocked, basically, it starts to target different locations where enemies' cyberware is vulnerable. So it kind of gives you another fun kind of like skill shot spot to hit. And if you hit that and you do enough damage to it, it then has sort of like an EMP explosion. So it's almost like AoE headshots, whereas headshots are like single target damage. This is kind of an AoE thing. So it adds a new tactical element. We've got things where like the gorilla arms that you have, you can really enhance it. And as you're doing damage with the gorilla arms, you can charge it up to then do, and again, I apologize, throughout this stream, I'm going to get the skill names wrong because we changed it so many times, so I don't remember the one, but I remember the themes of it. So you can knock the crap out of someone and then they go flying. I think we saw some of that in the trailer. With the Mantis Blades, you can charge it up and get like a really long range, like 30 meter plus leap out of it, which is really good. And for the overall gameplay kit of being able to kind of close gaps to snipers you see in the distance, stuff like that. With the monowire, you'll be able to put, as a netrunner, hacks through the monowire onto the enemies. And then as you further enhance it, you can then spread the hacks from the enemy that you put it to others with the monowire. The optical camo gets an enhancement through this tree as well, where you're able to like fully kind of just like vanish, like poof, out of combat if you want to reset kind of the stealth gameplay loop if you mess up, or if you want to jump in and get revealed tactically for a reason and then pop out, you can enhance it that way. It goes on and on and on.
Okay, so we explained some of those new perks, but how you actually leveled this new tree.
That's what I'm saying. It was the data terminals throughout Dogtown, so it's exploration.
Okay,
so as you can find them throughout your exploration of Dogtown.
So if you level up normally, you will not get the point.
Right, yeah, this is not through the leveling up, this is through exploration to get those points. Okay. Leveling up, of course, still gives you the perk points, which we'll talk about in a little bit, obviously.
I think we can clear this because I'm not sure if it was coming through.
Yeah.
You have to explore Dogtown to find those. They're not marked, they're not shown. You have to find them.
It's exploration.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's just
you'll hear audio cues. There'll be hints as you're getting close, that kind of stuff. But we really had fun with placing them in places that are fun
That's correct.
So Vault 2 and whatnot.
Okay, and if we start as the Phantom Liberty standalone, right? How many points do we get at the beginning, or we just start with 0?
So if you do the Phantom Liberty standalone, you get your first set of points from her that allows you to pick sort of one of the foundation ones.
All right.
And then as you explore, you get one more point for each of the data terminals you have. And I can't remember the exact number of points overall, but obviously if you find them all, you can fill up. Yeah, that's right.
All right. Right, so now we can actually jump into the juicy gameplay details. I know you've been dying to tell us a bit more about the gameplay that we are preparing. So sit comfortable. You're ready. All right. So we prepared the build, the solo build, for our players to see. And I also wanted to ask about the perks reset and the attribute reset. Can we maybe share some information about that before we jump to the gameplay?
So everyone is going to be able to, with your save files, your characters, you'll be able to reset your attributes once. And we're doing this obviously because we did a big revamp of the system. And your relic, I'm sorry, not your relic, but your perk points, you'll be able to respend, but you'll also be able to do it on the fly. Not while you're in combat, but whenever you can refund and readjust stuff and find the way you want to play. So that answers the question, I think.
Yeah. Right, so we ready with the gameplay? Let's go. So yeah, like I mentioned, we prepared a short showcase of the new skills and perks for the solo build. So yeah, Gabe, floor is yours. I know this is your favorite way to play.
I'm carrying the whole show right now.
Oh, so okay, yeah, we're going to the body tree. So, and I can't quite see which ones we're looking at, but the body tree, basically, we have a bunch of different things, that are in that theme. Because overall, the way we approached it is that we wanted to say, okay, if we're in this like dark future, there's cyberware, what are the different fantasies, the different gameplay loops, the different ways you want to experience the world? And which ones are missing? Which ones do we need to add? And one that we felt that wasn't fully fleshed out, or you felt viscerally, if you will, is this like sort of like Terminator, type cyberware where you're just in there in the thick of it. So one of the things on the tree is you can get it to where the heavy machine guns, if you remember the heavy machine guns of the base game are like brrr, whatever. Now if you got the strength, you can really keep it steady and and just melt people with it. The other thing is that the overall theme of this is to be in the midst of the action. So the more you're pushing your fight, there's this adrenaline thing, and the adrenaline meter goes up, and it's sort of this extra level of health or whatever. And if you can do the overhand slam, Quake, I think is what we call it now, bam, and the more people you catch in it, the more health that comes back. And so it's all about being in the thick of it and in the midst of the crossfire, but as long as you keep pressing that attack, you can survive. And there's various different ways to mitigate stuff. And then, of course, if there's a sniper in the distance, you can pick up a body and throw it at them. So we give the full kit, to deal with all the different dynamics in a different way, right? To really just feel different. And crap, there was one there that I just, so what kind of pairs pretty well with the body tree, which I think they showed there a little bit, is on one of the sides of the tech tree, you can unlock the ability to go even higher with your cyberware. So there's a cyberware limit, and then in the tech tree, if you get the right perks, you can kind of push past that limit. However, if you push past that limit, you're at risk of getting into what we call, it's the Edge Runner perk, by the way, is the name of one of them, of course, right? Okay. But you can get into a Fury mode, where essentially you're overloading and you're starting to receive like damage. You have your health max is lower and that kind of stuff. But it pairs really well with this build because you can keep getting adrenaline and regaining your health, right?
Yeah.
So it's one that just happens to, I can't wait to see all the different builds that the players find and how they mix and match. This is just one way to mix and match like body and tech, and kind of has that fantasy fulfillment, and I have a lot of fun playing that one myself. Oh, and of course, how could I miss? So another way you can close gaps is you can charge, and then you knock people back like bowling pins. And that's a good one for closing gaps. And if you get certain perks, you can. I'm talking too fast, aren't I?
No.
I'm talking too fast.
It's okay.
I get excited.
You get excited.
Yeah. There it goes. That was like a gratuitous throw there, which is fun to do, of course, as well. But you feel really satisfied if you see an enemy in the distance and you throw and you arc it just right, and bam, you splat them. It's so much fun.
So you actually touched already the Edge Runner perk, but what I would like us to clarify that player is not getting cyber psychosis, right?
Correct. Yeah, no, I saw there was some, so pushing the limit and getting into the fury state, you're not ever gonna like lose control of your character and start shooting civilians and stuff like that. Like it's like that's not like, but if you do, get to the point where you start on your own agency creating mayhem, definitely the police, which we'll talk about later, will start labeling you as a cyber psycho because essentially you have the agency and you are behaving that way.
So you can
but you don't lose
role-play.
control of your character. Yes, you can role play it. And you can push that limit, much like David did in the anime, where it's like your health is at a compromise, but you keep pulling it. And we call that the edge runner and the fury limit that you're pushing.
Right. Kacper, do you have your favorite?
For me, definitely going for the crowd control, I call it, my personal favorite.
Yeah.
We saw the yellow hammer, my favorite run so far. You can do really damage. The thing is that Gabe is geeking about this so much because he's part of designing this. I just geek about this as a gamer because I just love to spend time right now playing it. There's so much more. I just cannot wait to see you guys having fun. Again, my favorite, definitely crowd control with the yellow hammer. That's it. I'm good.
The yellow hammer has some of the abilities, like if you block and time it just right, you can be like stunning people,
precisely,
which is really satisfying.
Actually, there was one moment where you hit the guy and he just like lose conscious for a second. You can just do whatever with the character. It's so fun. It's so much fun.
All right, so I think we can now summarize what we've just talked. So we have some changes to skills and perks. We have the new tree. And we've seen a little bit of Somi, and we met her motives behind contacting V, and it's up to you guys if you want to trust her or not with your life and with everything that's going on. And I think we can move to another segment, which will be about Dogtown itself.
Dogtown, yes.
All right.
So Gabe mentioned a lot of things about Dogtown, but we're gonna get a little bit deeper into that and share some more information. So let's get into the gameplay. And Kacper, what can you tell us about Dogtown? How does it fit into Night City in general? How is it different?
So one of the first questions we asked when we were trying to design Dogtown was exactly that, how we can make it different yet feel like it's connected to the same city itself, environment. And of course, we had the backstory about the Dogtown being before this dream of very luxury, very rich place on Earth that you can go and have fun and do crazy other things. Yet it never come true because the war happened, right? And people, Militech and other companies, corporations actually, just pulled off out there and just everything stayed there. All the damaged buildings, even all the hardware that we're helping to build those buildings is there. And for us as artists and storytellers, it gave us a lot of tools to create those stories. Meaning, for example, Night City, it's not very, I would say, safe place, yet it is a city of dreams, right? So we try to make the contrast there. Where here, it's the total dystopian world, right? So we had the tools of showing this decaying world and how it goes, how it's being literally consumed by time, yet people trying to survive there. And that gave us a lot of opportunities because Dogtown itself, as you know, it's part of Pacifica. It's the part that before was closed off because of the whole building structures. Right now it's opened, and we had those tools. By those tools, I mean we had this idea of making this very dystopian world, and we used the tools like, sorry, I'm trying to make a proper sentence here, I'm sorry. The tools like, because for me as an artist, we had the opportunity to make this use of sand and decaying world, and this makes the whole thing consistent, right? However, yet every single part of the district is a little bit different. We have parts of the district where heavily inspired by Las Vegas, and we have casinos there. And some of them are still open. You can have fun there. Some of them are closed. We have parts where you can explore some old spas and hotels, which are very decaying, let's say, overgrown even. We have a part where you can see, which is a glimpse of hope with, we call it containers, our internal name, let's say. But you can see that people are trying to survive there, and they're trying to build like a hope for themselves in this really hopeless place. So we're trying to build this contrast there. And there are few flavors that I want to talk about right now. I want you to explore this, but we really try to make, even if this, let's say, very characteristic district itself, still some flavors to it and different flavors. And I think it's going to be very, very, very much fun for everyone to explore and find those flavors and see the different environments for people to try to survive there, because it's not a pretty and safe place to survive and live in.
So if this is such a dangerous place, who gets to live there? Who decides, oh, I'm gonna move to Dogtown?
I don't think it's like anyone woke up one morning and said, I want to change something in my life, and then go there living, because that's probably not the best place to go. However, there's a lot of different social layers, I would say, in Dogtown. We can start with all the people that are trying to escape from law, meaning NCPD, and trying to hide there, maybe even conduct business, which is probably illegal there, but you can do crazy shit in Dogtown, because why not? There, of course, are people that maybe got drawn there because other reasons. There are people that are just living there because maybe they were pushed away by, life is life. In Night City, you have to be able to survive.
The kind of political situation there is very different than Night City. Like the NCPD's not there. As we said, it was the site of the war, and he was a colonel in the war against the Arasaka, so corpos aren't allowed there. So as Casper was saying, it's a place that some people want to or need to flee to. So it creates quite an eclectic mix and group, and it's also a place where things that are illegal in Night City can be done there. And so it all adds to the texture and the story potential and the side quests and stuff like that we have there as you explore.
It also gives us the opportunity to build contrast, because we're always trying to find contrast between layers, visual layers and social layers. And here it's a lot of layers on top of each other, creating those contrasts. So I think it's very cool.
And we hope at the very beginning, when you see the big gate and Somi's trying to get you past that gate into there, that we give you that feeling. You hear on the megaphones, and I'm not sure if the audio played there for them, but you hear on the megaphones where Kurt is saying, like, no NCPD, no corpos, so on and so forth allowed there. And you even have scenes where NCPD is trying to get in, and the bar guest, his militia, is like back. Wait, am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
Am I allowed to curse? I don't know.
One per stream.
Back the F up. No, okay. Anyways, yeah, so it just gave so much potential. And I think the other thing that we had a lot of fun with, and as Casper was saying, was just that sort of that feeling of like oppression. Like, it's like even in the zone where people are, they've got stands and they've got some commerce and they've got a life there. There's still those bar-guest soldiers that are walking through, just making sure everyone's in order. So you feel that. And of course, the closer you get to the Black Sapphire, to his tower, the more it's sort of like in a military encampment.
I would still add to that what you said, is that because you may be made feel like Kurtz's people, bar guests, are there to protect you. It's not entirely the case.
No,
they're trying to protect themselves.
That's true. That's a good point.
But they're trying to maybe just make sure that they're okay, but they don't care about you.
Okay, but let's circle back a little bit. Okay, Barguest and Kurt. Who are they? Because Pacifica, we always thought it's like Voodoo Boys mostly, that's their turf. Sure. But Dogtown is controlled by Barguest, and the leader of Barguest is Kurt,
that's correct.
Right?
Yeah, I think we have to make sure that it's all clear. Dogtown itself still being part of Pacifica in terms of the map, like geography, what's the word here?
Geography,
thank you so much. But it's like as a entity, it's a separate thing, right? Mm-hmm. You have to go there. It's almost like a Vatican in Rome. If it's a good example, maybe not. But you know what I mean? Like
as far as borders go, yes, but otherwise.
That's what I meant. I meant by the borders. But yeah, so when you're going there, it's a different world, and it's run by Kurt, right? And the Kurt is a ex-special force military guy from Militech, and after the war, he started his own army, basically. And all the people, all the army people joined him that also couldn't find their place in the world after the war. And he basically created his own kingdom, let's say, even, right? He runs this place, and whatever he wants, he gets it. And what was the question? I got carried away a bit.
Because you started talking about Barghest without explaining who they are.
So his army, his militia, let's say, is called Barghest, right?
Yeah.
The forces are called Barghest. He's Kurt Hansen running the Barghest, and it's his playground. They do whatever they want to do there. Of course, he's also a businessman, but I don't know how far we can go there.
We can leave it here.
Okay,
People can meet Kurt on their own and find out more about it. In this playthrough, they have seen a peek into Kurt's life, everyday life. But okay, that's it about Kurt. Let's go into Rosalind Myers, because she is another very important character. Gabe already told us a little bit about her. She gets lost in Dogtown with her Space Force One being destroyed and shot down from the sky, and we meet her. So let's see on the gameplay Rosalind Myers, and can you tell us a little bit more about her?
Yeah, so she is the president, and we get shot down there, and we find out that she's someone who can hold her own, but she definitely needs assistance in getting out, and it's just the two of you, and you're trying to kind of find your way and escape, Kurt and his crew who are chasing you. So it's kind of a fun kind of like look around every corner in the first. I'm always hesitant, I don't want to spoil too much, but in the first sort of segment of gameplay, and in this scene here, we're seeing in a hideout, and I'm not sure if the audio is playing or whatever, but they're listening to Kurt, and this kind of goes to the point that you're trying to say. He's he's not just all brute. He's a smart politician, and he's playing a political game here with the propaganda machine, if you will. To say that, this is a ploy, the president isn't really there, so everyone look away while he does what he wants to do. He's like, they're just trying to position Night City to be able to reinvade my place here, and they're trying to take advantage of this, so he's really putting everyone in a difficult situation politically such that he can maintain his power and, of course, keep the president at risk. And you are, I'm not going to spoil anything more, but yeah.
That's good.
That's it.
Okay, so let's recap. We get contacted by Songbird to help the president. Kurt is the dangerous guy in here. So how does Solomon Reed fit into the picture? What is he doing in Dogtown? I mean, he's our amazing Idris Elba portrait character.
He's amazing. Yeah.
So was this for me or for Casper?
I don't know how far we can go here.
Okay. We can just say who he is. He's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, he's a sleeper agent. And he's in Dogtown, right? So we meet him, and he's a big part of the story.
Yes.
He's awesome. I'm really struggling here.
I know. I'm with you. I've been asked this before on some other ones, and I hesitate. But he's got a complicated past with Rosalind Myers, Songbird, but he is such a badass agent that was instrumental in the war that was there previously, that they basically have no choice but to kind of call back on him here. And, the kind of drama begins, but at the same time, he's someone who has very much trying in this dark, future, wanting to find purpose in the cause, in Noosa, and that kind of stuff. And so it's complicated, right? Like, that's how we like to set it up. We like to kind of complicated drama.
I mean, the whole, district, Dogtown, everything sounds really complicated and, always with kind of two sides of the coin, right?
The thing is that I feel like the only thing that we should be not spoiling is that we shouldn't put any perspective. Everyone has their own agenda. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's really cool because when you don't know the story, it's really tricky to know how to behave, let's say, in the situation. And I love this.
Yeah.
And I love this because you're on the edge all the time.
Okay.
And
before we actually move on, we have a question from the Twitch chat.
Oh, right.
For you, Kacper.
Oh my.
From Prostame. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. How did you approach navigation around Dogtown and the visual clues?
Okay, that's a great question. It's a very important question as well. So thank you so much for that. We always try to find any landmarks that will make the player understand navigation points. Even if we would be able to take away the map, the mini-map, you should be able to find yourself and navigate through Dogtown. The thing is that Dogtown itself, you probably saw it from the trailers, it's like a very U-shaped structure. So it's easy to navigate to see whether or not you are looking at the big buildings or other big buildings, which are very different. When you're going to see it, you're going to understand it. But also when you go slightly deeper into smaller environments, we always try to put like small cues or buildings or even lights, because lights and shapes, they're the best tool to use for navigation. Going, let's say, even deeper into some parts of the Dogtown, we use things like tools like cables or colors or even things that you can just literally follow to find a path or something. So there's plenty of things that we used across the Dogtown, and I really hope it works well, but I'm waiting for the feedback from you guys.
You'll be the judges.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, so before we wrap up this Dogtown segment, I know that our community had a lot of questions about, can we expect a new apartment for V in this district?
Yes.
Gabe's like,
yeah.
yes.
Simple answer.
You will, yeah.
It's awesome.
And it plays
it's
into the main storyline,
yeah.
so not going to say any more than that, other than yes.
Oh, and it's super cool and unique.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And one more, we have so many amazing characters. So we already talked about Somi, Reed, Kurt, Myers. Are there any new romance options in Phantom Liberty for V?
No. No, there's not.
Casual no.
There's not. And here's the thing: is like we talked about it, and it's like, okay, this situation in this story, again, without spoiling too much, there was never like a moment in which it's like, okay, let's force romance and sex on you. It just didn't want, it was like, it would be exploitive. It didn't go with the rhythm of the story we were trying to tell, and so it's not there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think V will be busy with something else.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. So to sum up, we have a new district straight in Pacifica. The district is run by Barghest, whose leader is Kurt Hansen. This is basically a city within Night City with their own laws and law enforcement, etc. And in Dogtown, we're gonna meet Kurt Hansen, Rosalind Myers, Solomon Reed, and many, many other characters that we want you to discover for yourself. And now we can go into something that was super highly anticipated by everyone.
Yeah, I think we've had like millions questions about it,
and
since the release of the game
already, yeah.
So we're gonna talk about the police.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. I know. You guys worked so hard to actually make sure that the police is the police in the city, and I know our community has a lot of questions about how it works.
All right.
So I think it would be best if we go from the top to the very bottom. We have like amazing gameplay prepared for that, together with showing some of the car combat in there as well. So yeah, maybe let's just jump right into it. All right, so I see we have this new car. I believe it's a new one, if I remember correctly from the gameplay, and it shoots, so it has to be a new one.
Okay, all right. So what? I just start from the top?
Can we talk about why can we shoot
because
from the car?
Awesome. That's why we can shoot. And right now we've got some mounted guns that it's shooting from. And if you go into, vehicles, all of them you can use your pistols, your SMGs, and shoot from it. The vehicles, some vehicles have mounted turrets, of which we're demonstrating there, and then some vehicles have missile racks as well. So as far as the vehicle combat goes, those are your options with that. Oh, and there's hacking. You can hack as well from the vehicle and into other vehicles. Awesome does that look? And man, kudos to who recorded this in first person, driving in first person and shooting in first person. But yeah, and should I jump into the police system?
Yes, because I think we just made them a bit angry. In there.
Wow. With vehicle combat, I should actually back up for a second. So on the bikes, you can also use melee weapons, which is a lot of fun. And then you can precision shot the gas tanks, which is different on different vehicles as they're different made. So it's one of those fun things that, as you get really good at this, you can really pull off some cool stunts. And you can hit tires with the katana blade. You can shoot tires. And so then the police system, as you get into trouble, one reason or another, you start to gain heat, And when the police show up, at first they're just like, okay, where did the action happen? Where did the crime happen? Or where did we get called for whatever reason and whatever, kind of quest or whatever? And I try not to spoil things, but when they show up at the scene, if you're still at the scene, then of course you get into combat, but you might want to go. But if you start to really crank up the heat, then they'll send more people at you. And they have tactics. They try to run you off the road. They try to T-ball. It's so much fun when you're going full speed and suddenly, bam! It's like, we got those moments. It's really cool. So, and then if you really crank up the heat, they start to bring out their own weaponized vehicles. And then of course we're seeing here, and you crank it out even more. Now you got MaxTac that shows
5
up.
stars.
Yeah. And when MaxTac shows up, so if you're in a vehicle and MaxTac's trying to get you, you'll see on the screen they're trying to hack your vehicle to, stop you. And then if your vehicle gets hacked, then they show up in an AV, or if you're on foot already, and 4 MaxTac come out. There's 5 different archetypes, and it's a random 4 of the 5 different archetypes that come out to fight you. And one of the things is, like, as those of you who know you've played, there's difficulty modes, right? And you put on lower difficulty modes, guys are actually easier. However, with MaxTac, nope.
So they just have like one level hard.
Minimum is hard. Minimum is hard, and there's a minimum level as well. So there is no story mode for MaxTac.
So the moral is don't do crime.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, because the thing is you don't get to this level unless you want it. You really got to push for this level, right, to get it here. And so if you're engaging in that, we want to make sure that MaxTac is an encounter. Yeah, so what should I go into? I mean, I could talk forever about this stuff. There's just so much.
I don't know. I was playing and I was randomly just driving and was trying to get rid of the police. And the more I tried getting rid of them, the more of them were showing up. So I actually reached MaxTac this way because I just wanted them to leave me alone.
Yeah, I just actually wanted to ask, like, what's the, the search loop for the police? Like, can you just, like, I know you can run away from them, but you have to just run and run and run, because I manage that. But is it difficult, or at some point they just so there's nobody there, let's drop the search?
Yeah. So as far as 1, 2, 3 stars, you maneuver away. It's, I mean, we try to strike the balance of the realism, but also the agency of being like, I'm trying to get out of this. And I'm not sure what's shown in this video, but we show you, like, we expand the radar, we show the circles, and we like to internally we call it the Pac-Man game. Because, like, if you've got like 2, 3, even 4 stars to some extent, you'll see little circles of their cone of visions or whatever, and you can navigate in the roads and avoid them and that kind of thing or whatnot. And then of course if you get on foot, it's a little bit easier to lose them. So it should be familiar with that kind of right there. And then of course if you go into quest areas and there's a quest you want to pursue, we tone it down appropriately for the quest as well.
Okay. Also, I don't know if we can see that here, but I remember when I was playing and I had police on my ass. I actually had the gang members. Yes, that's my one. I had actually gang members, helping me to fight the police. Is that the case as well? Like for most of the gangs, so I was just lucky.
Well, I mean, and I've talked about this in other interviews, but one of the important points is that the player is an agent that does stuff and it affects the world, but we also have other agents in the world, and we've also done a number of different enhancements on that front. You might see like 2 gangs just like chase each other. You might see cops chasing some gangsters or whatever. It has nothing to do with you. It's happening in the world. The world's alive. Now you can interfere, and particularly going back to Dogtown, if you see like a caravan doing a weapons transport or whatever, or there's an airdrop or whatever, and Kurt's militia's coming to pick it up, you can intercept, and maybe there's some cool loot to be found there or whatnot. But it's the same thing here. Like if you're into it with the police and there's something else going on with the gang, it could be a mix.
So they can help out, or not?
If you play it right, yeah. Gotta be careful where your bullets fly.
Okay. I actually also wanted to go back to the hit system, because we have the stars, but can we actually explain how you can get the stars? Like, so if I shoot someone randomly on the street, do I get already 1 star, 2 stars, or do I actually have to run through like a bunch of people to get like 3 stars?
Well, so if you commit any crime, you get a star. Like that, any crime. Okay. If you run someone over, if you shoot someone intentionally, you get a star. Now, especially when you get into Dogtown, but also in some other situations, you might get some stars based on quest situations, like things that are happening. and how do you, there's a formula and it's a grade in. So I can't say exactly like, okay, if you kill 3 people, it's, an important point, it varies by district and neighborhood and funding, right? Because part of the Cyberpunk world, Night City, and the story, it's socioeconomic. So they care a bit more than others. Always one person, it's a star, it's a crime, but how far do they escalate? Do they send in the big guns? Do they send in max tech? It really depends on the funding in the district. And you also hear different, the police have different comments about what district and how much they care, what they're gonna do, and that kind of stuff.
Can we maybe tell a bit more about Dogtown police? Will NCPD go there?
Vargas,
police is not allowed there, right? The thing is that there's no NCPD, right? The Vargas are there, and we said they're trying to keep the district safe, but they're not that much trying to protect you. But still, if you're going to shoot them, they will try to shoot you back. And the same system goes: the more you shoot Vargas, the more you shoot people, the more stars they will have.
They have different units. They have different vehicles.
Can we talk what's going to happen over 5 stars in Dogtown? Or?
Well, it's a little bit of a spoiler. You already answered this.
It's not spoiler, it's fine.
Yeah, okay, fine. Never mind. At any rate, there's different units, but in Dogtown, max tech will show up, because if there's someone that's at that level and it's cyberpsychosis, because you're causing that much mayhem, that's essentially what it is. Again, player agency-wise, it's not like we take over your character and then you're doing a cyberpsychosis thing. Then yes, max tech will show up in Dogtown, but otherwise it is the Vargas militia.
All right. Can we defeat Max Tech? I know Sebastian is already killing them.
Someone's doing great jobs surviving such a long time with Max Tech. So.
Yeah. He was trying to show how badass he is. I get it. But no, and the other thing to note is in Badlands, it's Militech. Militech is out there.
All right.
In the Badlands, as far as the units go, with the heat system.
All right. So I think we covered most of the police feature. If you guys have any questions, please drop them on our forums and Discord. So. We will try to clarify anything that's unclear, or if you want to know more during the next stream as well, with maybe the same guest or maybe with someone else.
We actually have a cool question from our Twitch chat. So we can run from the police, we can fight with the police, but can we bribe them?
No, we don't have a bribe.
It took a second there.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just watching. I wanted to see what he did. He did Quig, which was really fun, because when you do the slam, it does physics on vehicles, and you get some nice.
But that's props for him for really surviving such a long time.
Yeah.
Nice day.
All right, what's the next question?
Okay, so we have a question in general about Phantom Liberty. Does the story take us out of Dogtown at all?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna spoil it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There are parts that you're gonna explore new places in Night City itself, but the majority of the thing is Dogtown.
That's enough. I think that's enough for people to know. Okay. And another one: will Dogtown be accessible outside of Phantom Liberty?
No. To be able to have the full experience of Dogtown, you have to get Phantom Liberty. However, for people that don't get Phantom Liberty, you're going to be able to see Phantom Liberty, Dogtown, from let's say from perspective of someone that cannot get in there. So you're going to see the whole thing. You're going to see the gates. You're going to see people standing trying to get there, but you will not be able to get because you don't have the access to it.
So you will see the gate.
Exactly. You see the gate. You will see horizon, the vista itself. It's there, but you will not be able to get in.
I
love it. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, he's trying to they're shooting past him with the mounted weapons, and he's trying to outmaneuver. This is fun. And he's got you see the bar there, the hack. They're trying to hack, and they disabled his car now. And he's trying to run from the.
With my favorite weapon here. Look at that.
The bat. All right. What's the next one? What's the next question?
Oh, you like the questions?
Well, I don't know. What's the next part in the script? Where do we go?
We're gonna go. If you want to talk a little bit more about the car combat, this is perfect place as well.
I can just talk about this from the perspective of the player.
Okay.
Right, which is when I remember you told me at some point we're gonna get there. I was like, okay, fine, but I had no idea how fun it's gonna be. Because it's really really fun. And from one point of view, being fun is that it also gives so much more fun factor to the whole thing. Right, you can just take your car and even wreak havoc over Night City itself. And that combined with police system trying to get away from them, fight them. It's really awesome gameplay loop, and I really have fun so much with it. So I'm just trying to say that this is just awesome. It's one of the best features I feel like we're introducing here, from my perspective, of course. Right?
Right on. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the goal, is to try to give. I mean, and I've said this in other interviews, but the city is beautiful, right? Like in the dark future kind of way, of course. But yes, it's beautiful, and it feels so alive, and we wanted to just breathe more life into it. And a way to do that is with kind of systems that complement and manage and meet expectations, rather. Are we going to talk about vehicle gigs or vehicle contracts?
Yes, we have another piece of gameplay later on, so we can.
I'm famous for going out of order.
Yeah, because it always connects very well to this endless gameplay loop, which is so much fun, from both Dogtown and Night City.
We lost all the stars, and
I think we're gonna be safe right now.
Like he killed everyone. He killed the whole max tech.
Almost, like there's still like, you know.
The whole NCPD is dead.
But yeah, I guess we can go to the vehicle gigs.
Okay, so what we're gonna show you in a second is our brand new type of missions. So we're gonna have vehicle gigs, which, as Kacper already mentioned, are very well connected with the police system and the car combat, because you basically start getting chased, so it's very easy to kill someone, and then police gets into it, and so on and so on. So let's start with the next part of the gameplay. And here we find a car, and we will in a second get a call from Muammar Reyes, El Capitan, the fixer that you know from the base game. And there is one thing that we wanted to clarify. It's not Mama Wallace that is gonna be selling you guys the cars and dealing with all those missions. It's Muammar Reyes.
Yeah, I don't think Mama Wallace would be able to sell the car. She can actually sell you a drink if you ask her nicely, but not necessarily a car.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. All right, so what can you tell us about these quests?
Yeah, so in Dogtown, you'll get this kind of new activity unlocked. Vehicle gigs or vehicle contracts. Miramar reaches out and he's like, "Hey, you're in Dogtown. You can help me out with something and pick up this vehicle." And this is the introductory quest to it, I believe, that we're playing right here. When you get there, he's going to be like, "Listen, I've got a bunch of different targets throughout Night City and Dogtown. If you can help me with this, then you'll be compensated." And one of the ways he compensates you is by unlocking new types of vehicles, including missile launchers. This is how you get the missile launchers unlocked, is through Miramar. And there's of course, as we like to do at CD Projekt Red, there's a story surrounding this, and it is.
And for me, it was insanely surprised when I first time played it, and it was just proper story to it.
Yeah,
it was awesome. It's just it's just fun. It's really fun.
So yeah, and it has to do with like his hometown and that kind of stuff. And I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the key features of this is that it is you just see it, like you'll see on your map. It's like, oh, here's one of the targets. Here's one of the targets, and it's dynamic. And the objectives are dynamic, and the enemies that come at you are dynamic, and it can be different gangs, it can be Tiger Claws, it can be Voodoo Boys, it can be whoever, and some of the activities are actually hacking another vehicle and getting it, so you've got to ghost a vehicle and be sneaky stealth, right? Some are just all-out combat, some are about you got to get to a place in time. So it's a very, and it's different locations, it's all what's the word I'm looking for? I hesitate to use this, dynamic. I keep using it, but it's
it is dynamic.
It's all over the place. But again, you unlock it in Dogtown with Phantom Liberty, but you'll see it throughout Night City at that point.
But it won't be in the base game. It's just the Phantom Liberty.
This is one of the things in Phantom Liberty. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that we can actually unlock some cars with weapons, vehicles with weapons through that quest. But we had people asking us whether they can actually add weapons onto the cars that they already have.
No, it's preset. Though there are some vehicles in the base game that you already purchased or you already got, and we did add weapons to it because it was kind of supposed to be there. So yeah, there's some of that.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned that you can also do the hacking during car combat.
Yeah.
Do you have to be a netrunner to do that?
You have to be a netrunner. Well, I mean, we've got this open class system, right?
Yeah,
So you can be a hybridized netrunner. You can be a smidge of a netrunner.
You just need
right?
some cyber deck.
You need a cyber deck and you need a perk to unlock it. But the better of a netrunner you are, the more different hacks on vehicles you unlock. And so you can hack the actual vehicles, but you can also hack passengers inside of vehicles. And when you hack the vehicle, some of the vehicle hacks that we have is like, and this is a fun one in chases, is to make them lose control of their car and like steer off and crash, or even force brakes. And of course, one of the really powerful ones are to detonate. You can detonate the car on them. And then probably the most fun one is you can remote control a vehicle. So,
really?
By hacking. So you can remote control a vehicle. You're hacking. I got to remember to look at the red camera.
Yes.
Sorry guys, I'm not so great at that. But yeah, you can remote control it. A sandbox of combat, if you will. Decide if you want to drive it into people and into enemies, not people, enemies.
All right, that's super cool. Okay, so we are dropping by the car to El Capitan.
Yeah.
And that's how the story ends, but we're also not gonna show you everything. And if you guys have a tail, so if the police is chasing you or the gangs are chasing you, you need to lose them. So you won't be able to give back the car to El Capitan by then.
Give it to me straight, Cap.
And try to not destroy the car, as much as you can, because, he will probably comment on that. Like, why are you bringing me this ruin? Why, we had a deal, V.
If you want to earn more, yes, definitely. Definitely.
Okay, cool, guys. So we can start finish watching this gameplay, but this is actually the last gameplay part of this stream that we have prepared today. I know that this is not all of the topics that have been mentioned in the new ways to play trailer. We're gonna get back to that in our next stream soon. But let's sum up. We told you about the revamped perks. You actually could see all of the trees that we reworked. They're less perks, but they are more impactful right now. Am I correct?
Yeah, I would say overall, but there is just so many more like actual action perks. So many more like things to do now, like a crazy amount more.
Okay, and this is coming with update 2.0, right?
It is, yes.
It's not only Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
Great.
Is this where we talk about that part?
Yes, we can. We summarize everything and we tell people what is coming in the update and what is coming in the expansion.
All right, yeah. So the perk overhaul, all the new ways to play, the new ways that we revamped the Netrunner, the body, the strong solo, the fast solo, the techie, all the different hybrid combinations you guys are going to think of. Yep, that's all in 2.0. The revamp of the police system, the max tech fights, all that is in 2.0.
Then we have the Relic skill tree that obviously
that's
Phantom Liberty,
yep.
Dogtown District, also Phantom Liberty,
yep.
Reed, Solomon Reed, Songbird, Myers, Kurt, Barges, also Phantom Liberty. Car combat. Will we see some
That's
car
2.0,
combat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Car combat's 2.0. I mean, because it's like it'd be weird, like, oh, you can only draw your gun. No, it's the whole game.
But the car geeks are gonna be Phantom Liberty.
They are, yes. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess these are all the things that we mentioned.
Yeah.
And please keep in mind that the Phantom Liberty expansion is coming on September 26th on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, as well as PC. And update 2.0 is coming a little bit before that.
Yeah, so I guess we can move to the Q&A session. We picked some of the questions from our community that you guys sent over to us during last few days. And yeah, we can start. So the first question would be by Showstopper. Will Netrunner have a significant change in the expansion?
Yes, they will. So we talked about the vehicle hacks that changed, but one of the kind of like principles that we applied with the Netrunner is we wanted you to do more net running in your gameplay loop, not just like do a little bit of net running, shoot, do a little bit, but more net running. I did talk about the nanowire and how we incorporated that, but you'll find that the way we use the kind of the resource system and the costs, that it is a much easier to play at the beginning thing, but we still have the mastery levels to it, and we added new kinds of ways to really push your mastery in playing it. For example, you can now queue up multiple hacks on one target, and based on what you queue up, there's different combinations and things that can happen. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of the familiar hacks you'll see from before, you know, contagion, all the shock, all that stuff, but there's new ways to engage with it. We also incorporated, and I apologize, I'm not going to do all the justice to it, but smart weapons. Like ways that, like smart weapons we feel, and the nanowire, it pairs really well with net running, and so there's like synergies that you can play off of with like kind of regenerating your memory, that kind of stuff. So, it has a very different rhythm to it. I mean, maybe that's the best way to put it, a very different rhythm to it, which we hope everyone enjoys.
All right.
So the next question is from Nerm, and it says, I think we touched on it a little bit. Are there different types of vehicle geeks, or are they all the same grabber cars?
Yeah, well, we talked about it. So, but obviously, vehicle gig, grabbing a car is essential to it, vehicle combat, right? But then, yeah, the objectives are to get it to a location, to hack an individual, to get there in time, to kill, you know, enemies, whatnot. But yeah, there's a different variety.
Okay, so the next one by Amlap04. Will the level of friendship that we have with Johnny Silverhand have an impact in the dialogues in Dogtown?
Yes, and also one of the important things to note is that, and I think we said this in another interview, but your experience with Johnny in Dogtown, there's a story arc to it. And he has, you know, some different character arc moments he can reach to based on your decisions and what happens and stuff like that. And it is even reflected in some of the dialogue in the base game as well. So we did connect the stuff.
Okay. So I'm skipping a few questions because we have already answered those. But there is a nice question that we touched up on, but we already know why Night City gave up on Pacifica. There was a war, but the rest of the questions is asking, why is it actually called Dogtown?
Argus, dogs.
Yeah,
it's a colloquial term. It's not like an official term. It's like yeah, because of Kurt Hansen, his dog, his Barbiest, and so they call it Dogtown. Oh, what? This shirt?
No, I don't know.
Whose side are you on?
I don't know.
I
think he likes Bargas too much.
Yeah. Well, they
do have interesting lives.
Yeah. He did an amazing job with Dogtown, so it makes sense.
So there are no dogs in Dogtown, right?
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, they are, I guess, in a way.
In some way.
Count them.
Yeah. All right, so the next question will be by Andrew. How connected is Phantom Liberty to the rest of the story? Is it just a side story?
It is it is its own contained story, but it is integrated in that it has all to do with V, it's like V's situation is a big part of that story, so it's integrated in that way. But it is, you can play it by itself if you want to, or you can play it in an integrated way, as I think we touched at the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so the next question is from Vergener. How post-apocalyptic will the upcoming expansion be? Will there be heavily overgrown locations, and how much of the post-apocalyptic surroundings will be felt in the expansion?
So as we briefly touched upon that, we try to make this dystopian world feel like it's almost post-apocalyptic. And yes, they're going to be overgrown places. They're going to be places which are deserted. They're going to be places which are almost falling apart. And that's what makes Dogtown a bit different. And that's also what makes the contrast, that people are trying to survive there, yet it's a very, very harsh environment. So very post-apocalyptic, and I hope it fits the whole vibe of the thing.
Yeah, it does.
Right, so that would be the last. I mean, come on, guys! You can drop us still the questions in the chat. We still have a few minutes, but yeah, for now, the last one.
What about the last one?
Will the current level limit will be?
Oh, that's an important
up,
one.
Down.
Yeah. So with Phantom Liberty, you get the level plus 10, 60. Yes.
So no 70.
No, not 70, 60.
60.
60 level cap. Yep.
What about the street cred?
New weapons, new cyberware. We didn't talk about it. I guess that's next stream. Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Like I said,
cyberware. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, cyberware will be the next stream.
All right. Sorry. Sorry. What was your question?
What about the street cred? Will the level of the street cred will be
Yeah,
up.
no, that actually.
So just the level.
Yep,
Okay.
But you have new, with Mr. Hands, which we showed in the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything there. You can now fill that up, and there's new stuff to be had there. And he's
So
quite
a little bit
integrated
of-
with the story as well, which is a fun thing that we did.
Even Mr. Hans.
Mr. Hans.
Yeah, Mr. Hans, yes.
All right, so guys, thank you for answering those questions. If we get some more, we might try to fit them in. But we're getting closer and closer to the end of the stream. So I'm gonna sum up everything for you once again, and there is gonna be another stream in a couple of weeks where we're gonna deep dive in some other topics that have been also mentioned in the New Ways to Play video. For now, we talked about the revamped perks and skills. We showed you for the first time the full Relic skill tree. We also went deeper into the Dogtown and showed you, you were able to meet some of the characters from the expansion. So we showed you Kurt, Rosalind Myers, Songbird, Solomon Reed, etc. Then we also talked about the upgraded police system, which is completely crazy right now. You can actually see that on the screen right now, how crazy that is. And we also discussed the brand new type of missions for you, which is vehicle gigs, as well as all of the loop with car chases and vehicular combat. There will be more stuff that we will discuss next time, but for now that's it.
Yeah, and briefly what Alicia mentioned, in the next stream, in a few weeks, we'll be talking about the cyberware changes, the armor changes, UI, combat changes, and we will try to address a lot more questions from you guys. If you have anything specific that you would like to know and we didn't cover it today about Phantom Liberty or 2.0, as always, leave them during the stream on Twitch chat and on our forum and Discord channels. And remember, Phantom Liberty is coming very, very soon, September 26th, on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, as well as PC. And the patch 2.0 will also come to those platforms a few days, weeks, who knows, earlier. So it will be a bit before.
Important thing, update 2.0 is not coming to last-gen consoles, so PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
And you can also play Phantom Liberty on GeForce Now. And we also would like to highlight the newly announced NVIDIA DLSS 3.5, featuring reconstructions for all Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty.
That's incredible. Sorry.
For you.
No,
Go ahead.
I was about to say that.
I was seeing on the monitor at the convention, and I was like, okay, so this is a new loading screen we've got there, and then I hit no, it's not. It was actually the game. It just looked like a flash.
Yeah, I was lucky enough because Kuba, who's working with NVIDIA, because he's next to my desk. He's always like, "Come over, look at this." I'm like, "It's a movie. What you showing me?" Like, "No, it's our game." I'm like, Jesus, it's incredible. It's When you saw the update, I was like, "You have to check this out." Really, I'm worthless right now.
Okay, so one more thing for our streamers on Twitch. If you are a content creator who stream on Twitch, make sure to watch out for our social channels, because we're gonna have a very cool thing for you very soon. So coming soon. And I'm afraid that we need
to say it right
now. No. I'm afraid that we need to finish, but do you have any last words for our players, for our community?
Thanks for attending, and we can't wait to get it in y'all's hands. And just thank you so much for the support and sticking there, and we're
believing in us, right? Sticking with us, believing in us, because it was a hard time, but Phantom Liberty is gonna be awesome. I really hope everyone's gonna enjoy that as much as we did doing it, and it was a ride.
So soon.
It was a ride.
Very soon.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Kacper. Thank you, Gabe,
so much for
joining
having
us. We're gonna have more information coming soon, but I hope you learned a lot from this stream and enjoyed it. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.